Okay, looking at these units, customers reported one of them is, or possibly both of them, is knocking the earth leakage trip out. They've had some power issues here because they're near where the HS2 train line's been built and the site's been run off a generator. And the generator caused a few issues and blown up a few things, so that might be a factor. Or it could be not connected. These coils don't like current being too high. Voltage is wrong rather, I was saying. Anyway, my foot is killing me, and my toe joint's swollen up, so that's like blooming gout or arthritis. And then my knee's bad because I smacked it the other day, and then it got better and it's playing up again. So anyway, we'll pop the cover off, get the Megger fired up. I've got a key for these in here, I think. Key, I got this. I think it's a Knipex, or Knipex. Or it might not even be. They're not even shut. It's handy because it's compact. Some of these switches you can actually get in the switch and turn the switch with it. There's a little torch. Here we go. Let's have a look. Nothing burnt. That one's popped out. So that might be what they've done to get it to run. That contactor looks a bit yellow compared to that one. That might be an age thing. So these overloads, that is off, that is on, that would be on, that is off. So they might have turned that one off to get it to run, which would point to it being that unit, whichever one that feeds, which might be that one over there. So I know we've had a noisy bearing on the fan motor for a few years, so hopefully it's something like that. Okay, let's confirm we've got a good earth. I don't know whether the earthing, I don't know if that is earthed. Looks like it. Yep, so that's a girth. We've got the other earth on the pipe. So this is the one we think is the good compressor. Yeah. What's annoying with these meters is you turn the light on and then they decide that you only want the light on for 30 seconds. Whereas, I mean, if I've decided I want the light on, I want the bloody light on. Imagine buying a car, you turn the headlights on and it decides after a minute you don't need them on anymore. Stupid manufacturers. You know, if I run the batteries down leaving the light on, that's my fault. Right. This one is the suspected bad one. There we are, 0.01. That is on the output of that contactor. Middle one is going to be the same. And the third one again is going to be the same probably. That's a dead short. So we're showing a dead short on these bottom side of that contactor. So we need to either trace the wires, see where they go. If they follow the way these are, it's going to be the fire unit. I think we pop the cover off. If we pop the cover off this one, it's easy to get to. If this one tests good, then we know it's the other one. Okay. I think these top ones are the compressor connections. That's going to be fine, the way that's shooting up. Yep. So the problem is likely in that unit there, so let's get ourselves repositioned. Okay, there's not a lot of room here. They've got these 1 ton 1,000 litre ex-chemical tanks they're using for water, I think. So this, if I've wired it the same as the other one, would be one of the compressor feed wires. and that is a dead short. Dead short. Dead short, so that's not good. I don't know, the other fans I think are 3-phase looking in on there. We zoom in on that bracket. Because they're quite old. Some of the newer units would be, a compressor could be single or 3-phase, but the fans were always single phase because they were set up that you could put a speed control on them cheaply. Right, so we're going to work out which ones of these wires go to the compressor, and we'll just pop the crimps off of these terminals and then we can test it. And then the only other thing it can be is the cable or the compressor. So what we'll then do is pop the cover off and check the compressor on its own. Last thing you want to do is turn up with a new compressor and find a mouse has chewed through the cable or something stupid. No, right. Not sure how much longer my camera's going to keep working, because when I turn it on the screen's sometimes in black and white and then it flickers. So if I disappear from YouTube for a bit, that'll be why. Anyway, I think the white wires coming in are a multi-cord armoured cable, steel wire armoured cable that brings the power and the control circuit in. So that's these ones here. And then I think these 3 brown wires are probably the phase wires that go up to that box there that then split to go to the 2 fans. Now the best thing we could see now would be, let's turn the freaking part-time light on, is we want to still see a short. Still be a short, still be a short, still be a short. Ooh, look at that. Still a short. Still be shorted, still be shorted. Yeah. I don't know why I test all 3. It's a habit I've got. Yeah, I've paid for the meter, so I'm going to use it. And then these ones, do with the grips on there really. That is off the scale. 98 gigaohms. And it was brown, black, grey, I think was the order they went on that. That's 100 and thingy bob. It don't really matter what it is as long as it's over. Well, even 1 mega ohm would run 17 gigaohms, so that's good. The compressor looks good, which is good because that's the expensive part. So what we might have is a seized up fan that's burnt the motor out. So this one, these are 3-phase, so they have a thermal overload in the motor, so the motor would get hot, turn off, shut the whole unit down, cool down, then try and run again. It could be like that, or if something's let go inside, it could have gone running like a bit of shrapnel and just chewed the windings up. But so we'll put this back together, and we'll pop that cover off there, and then we'll split these 2 motors individually, and then we can measure each one. So it's a good job I chucked one of these on the van when this call coming this morning. I was still at home, so I keep these. I've usually got 2 3-phase ones and 2 single-phase motors in stock, but I don't keep them on the van because they're quite heavy, and I don't fit them often enough. If I was doing them once a month or something, you know, I might go 6 months and not fit one. So we'll have a little. Need to have a little discussion about vans anyway, because I'm looking at changing mine. When I got it, it's a Mercedes Vito, and you could put. It was a 3.2 tonner, so it had about a payload of about 1.2 tons. And I've just gone into price up for replacing. Well, not my one because it's quite new, but Dave's van's 11 years old, and it's no AdBlue on it, so it's getting where some towns don't like you got to pay a fee to get into them, and it's got a bit more miles on the mine. So I was looking at I do more mileage than he does, so we were looking at replacing mine with a new one, and then Dave having my old van. But they stopped making the 3.2 tonners. They do a 3 ton and 50 kilos, so I'd have to find 150 kilos worth of stuff not to carry in the back, which I think would be tricky. Or, I mean, they're about 37, 38 grand, and then I looked at an equivalent Sprinter, which you can still only put about 1,300 kilos in, and a gross vehicle weight of 3.5 ton, and that was 47 grand. If you went for the medium wheelbase, so you can put pipe in the back. So I don't know what we're going to do at the moment. Anyway, that's all brown, black, grey. I think that's how they were. That's back on there. So put that cover on. I'll pop that cover off there. Okay, got the wires separated. Got that earthed on there. And this one. Showing the dead short. That's on this one here, I think. And then let's go on the other side. Ooh. That's going to be funny if they're both gone. Is that a nightmare? I should have put the crocodile grip on the end of that. Dead short, they're both duff. It's not both fan motors. Ooh. What else would cause that? Let's get all the wires took out properly, I think. Now, that would be odd. Unless it's the running off the generators killed them both. That would have to be an external power supply issue if you both died, wouldn't it? You're not going to get them both burn out exactly the same time. You know, if one was going to go, if you change that one and run it up for 30 seconds and that one burn out, you could believe that, but you're not going to believe them both going exact instant and both being shorted out at the same time. So let's just make sure I haven't got my wires crossed over or they're not touching something in there. So this okay, what about the blue one? Have we got a good earth? That's weird. So that is now testing out okay. Yeah, I've took all the wires out and now the short's disappeared. I have in the past had the purple wires, which are the thermistor wires, I've had them short out to one of the phases, which would make it pull stupid amounts of current or blow a fuse if it was fused properly. Because you basically, if the control circuit's on a different phase, you've got basically two phases shorted together. So maybe we ought to get the thing on there and then check the purple wires to each of these three. 6 wires rather, because we've got the two ends of the windings. Not as simple as I thought. Okay, there we are. We've got the blue and the purple. So that's one of the blue is one of the phase colours, and the purple is a control circuit. And we've got a dead short between the blue and there, and then off the yellow, which is one of the other phases. It wasn't quite as shorty. And then off the red, you've got to be careful because they're all floating about. They could be touching each other. The red one is a bit, but not as bad. So the thermistor wire is shorted out to the windings, basically. So it might not be an actual earth fault proper. But what will happen is, because these boxes, they don't switch the neutral when you turn them off. When you Megger it, it will go all the way up the phase wires, jump across into the control circuit through the short, up the control circuit through your LPHP all the way back and go through the contactor coil, which is obviously connected to neutral, and it'll appear that it's earthed, because the earth and the neutral are connected together out on the incoming power supply. So yeah, that's good, because if it's not two motors we can get them going, otherwise we'll have to go off and get one, which would be a pain. This is a good hour and a bit's drive away from where I live, so that's 2 hours, 2.5 hours for nothing. I'm pretty sure I've got another motor, but I'm not 100%. Anyway, stop wittering. Let's get this took off. We can put that one back together temporary and give it a buzz and see if it runs okay on one fan, and then that'll prove the compressor's good and the other fan's good. It's sort of sound a bit raw, but it spins okay. Should run. It's a lot worse than that. So it's probably that generator they've had putting funny voltages out and cook one of the windings. Too many volts or not enough volts on something, and things get overheated and the insulation melts. Okay, got the blade off there in the end. We had to get the torch on it and nearly get the hub smoking hot, really. Then we've got to just move a tiny bit. Once you've got it moving, you can usually get them to come off. So we've got the blade a wash, the guard's a bit of a scrub. So we've got the motor built up, and then we are up behind that grill, that's where we're working. Okay, got the new motor and the guard up here. I've just put it in there loosely. We'll get the guard bolted on, and then we can slide the motor in and out. Usually put the back edge of the blade in line with the 5th fin. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you look straight in, and that there should be in line with that edge there. That's a factory sort of setting. Okay, got that bolted on there, so I've just got all the wires to make off, and then we'll Megger it again, just to make sure we haven't got an issue with that motor as well. Okay, that's the start point on this motor, where all the 3 windings join together. That's the other one for the other one. That's all our earths. That's the red phase, blue phase, yellow phase. That is a control circuit in. That's control circuit link between the 2 motors, and that one is control circuit out. So that should all work, which is easier than messing around with that terminal block, which I've put somewhere. This one, the little holes in there are so small. They're really sized for 2 wires, so you almost want to run the power wires in the top and then your motors at the bottom. But the wires on this were a bit short to be messing about with. Okay, that was still meggering funny on the other motor, so we've disconnected the 2 purple wires, which is the Thermistor. Let's give it a run. There we are, 9 volts. It's either tripped something or it's pumped down. So we had about 40 volts that went up to, and this buzzes when it's got power on it, and I felt it buzz. So we're getting proper mains voltage on them 2 purple wires. So that motor's duff as well. So they must have had some voltage issue that's blown both of them up, I would think. Maybe the thermistor's got overheated and cooked the windings or something. Okay, the tank's empty, so we've got no milk to cool, but we've gone and turned the ice builder on, so it should be working. When I powered it up, I heard the solenoid click. And we've got power coming in on the white wire to the purple to the new motor, and back out of the purple for the new motor. So the only other things it could be off on is a low pressure or high pressure switch, which are difficult to get to. So I'm gonna turn this on here with the cover off and just check we have got power or not at the contactor, in case the coil's burnt out. That one's got a time delay on it. Okay, that's the ice builder, so a little shed. There's not a lot of room. Should have made this bit a door. Need to have a bit more. Anyway, that one is the system that's working, so we're getting 12 amps on that. Doesn't mean a thing, but it just means if any amperage is on there, it means it's working. This one, 11 amps. So that should be open then, shouldn't it? Yes, I can feel it warming up. So then we're into gas problems, aren't we? So if that valve's opened, we need to go and see if it's off on the low pressure switch. We put some gauges on it. Okay, we've got no gas in there basically, it's 20 psi and about the same on the high side. Well, it is the same, a lot of taps open. Just to make sure that that solenoid was opening properly and it won't come down. Something catastrophic has happened to this.